This sucks. I've been alive for 15 years. For every single one of those 15 years, I have watched at least one Pacers basketball game. From the moment that I came out of the womb till now, I have watched at least one Pacers basketball game every year. I have grown up with this team. When I was a small infant child, there was the suckful teams of the mid 2000s that were honestly pretty trash. They were just like middle of the pack. Then the 2010s, where we went to Eastern Conference Finals and almost had a championship team. Then the mid 2010s, where it really sucked. And then the late 2010s, where we were at our prime, at our peak, since that Eastern Conference Finals run. And then the 2020 season, where we probably had one of the worst years since like 2015 when we missed the playoffs. And it looks like we're going to have another one of those years, as Edmond Sumner has torn his Achilles. And for not 1 year of my life have I witnessed a Pacers team not disappoint. Already starting off this year with disappointment. Lots and lots and lots of disappointment. As Edmond Sumner is one of the most promising young players on this team. And the only reason really we got him was because of an injury that he got in college, and then he fell in the draft, and we picked him up, and he worked his way up through the G League for a few years, and then cracked the roster finally, got on the roster, and then started to get regular playing time last season. And then, he finally gets regular playing time. He's a fan favorite. He might even be a starter one day. And then this. He tears his Achilles. He's fought back from injuries before, but that still doesn't make it not difficult to go through. And especially in Achilles, where your Achilles tendon controls a lot of stuff. When you're running, when you're stopping, your Achilles controls a lot of that, being able to stop on a dime. That's what your Achilles controls. While doctors will say you can never make a full recovery, there have been guys who have come really close to making a full recovery. And usually it is guys who are younger. So I guess it's not as bad as it could be. If he was a lot older, then he would have a lot less chance of making a good recovery. But I just can't. It amazes me how year after year after year the Pacers just get screwed over by the worst luck in the world. And we never get anything, any joy, like nothing in the past that we can cling on to. We don't have like a championship from even 10 years ago that we can look to and be like, ooh, we have this shiny trophy at least. We don't even have that. Those teams of the 2010s never won a championship. Teams of the early 2000s never won a championship. Teams in the 90s never won a championship. We right now have one of the longest active championship droughts in all of sports. And it doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. Chris Duarte better step up. Because Edmond Sumner plays the same position and was probably going to play in front of Duarte while Duarte got Edmond Sumner type minutes. So now Duarte is going to be getting a significantly more amount of minutes than he would with Edmond Sumner on the roster. So he better step up. He better step up. Torrey Craig also will probably be getting more minutes because of this. A lot of backup guards will probably be getting more minutes and be getting a chance to try and show up. And I guess the one positive thing you can say about this Pacers organization is whenever someone does get injured, we always seem to find somebody that steps up. O'Shea Brissett is a product of that. Edmond Sumner was a product of that. Chris Duarte might be a product of that. Miles Turner was a product of that. Who am I thinking of? We always seem to have a deep roster, is what I'm saying, where we have guys on the bench who are good. And the way that we beat some of these better teams is by our bench being better. So, at least we have depth. Still no championship, with no foreseeable championship in the future. Oh my goodness. I just can't believe the pain that this team puts me through year after year after year. And the fact that no matter what they do, no matter how cheap Herb Simon is, no matter how many free agents Kevin Pritchard lets walk, no matter how bad this team does, and how badly they treat their players, and how badly the players treat the organization, no matter what they seem to put the fans through, we always seem to come back year after year after year. And I really think we need to start being credited as one of the most resilient fan bases that have ever existed. At this point, we're up there with Detroit fans. And that's just Detroit fans of any sport. Mainly Lions fans, because I mean, the Tigers and the Red Wings are looking up. But that's about it. The Pistons, kind of. But we should really be credited more as one of the more resilient fan bases at this point. Because we keep on coming back to a team that relentlessly breaks our heart, whether it's a controllable factor or a non-controllable factor. I get this injury is a non-controllable factor, but there are a lot of things that have happened that are controllable factors that could have been prevented if just Herb Simon actually started owning this team like he wanted it to win. But he knows that even if he puts a terrible product out there on the field, there's still people that are going to come and watch it. Bankers Life Fieldhouse will still be filled. Even if he puts out a terrible team that barely makes the playoffs or barely misses the playoffs, we still watch it and we still give him money. But he doesn't want to give us any of his money. And it's not even going directly to us. We just want it in the form of a good basketball team. And Kevin Pritchard, yeah, he's good at fleecing teams in trades. He's good at drafting players. But he doesn't matter when you can't keep those players. Because he can't keep those players. They walk in free agency or he trades them later. Because he upsets them because he mismanaged them completely. This team just manages to be terrible in new and amazing ways every single year. And just becomes a cautionary tale. It's getting to the point where people actually seriously ask me why I'm a Pacers fan. And to the point where saying I'm from Indiana isn't enough of a reason. That's literally the only reason that I am a fan of this team is because I was born here. Me and the Pacers have the same level of luck. Just makes me mad that I put so much faith in this team. I put a lot of money into this team too. A lot of jerseys have been bought, a lot of merch, thousands of dollars actually worth of merch and jerseys bought by me or family members for me as a gift. I'm done with this. And I always say that I'm done, but of course I don't mean that I'm done being a fan of this team. I just mean I'm worn out. I don't think anybody in the Pacers front office or Herb Simon or anybody in the Pacers organization really realizes what this team means to some people. Like me, when I wake up in the morning and I see, oh look, the Pacers play today, whether it's a bad team or a good team, it's still the thing that gets me through the day, gets me through my week, gets me through the rest of the year. It gets me through crappy days. It's the thing that I look to stay happy and get me through life. And they don't realize that in the front office of the Indiana Pacers. And if they realize that, then maybe they'd have some more motivation to put a good basketball team on the floor for once in their life. And once in frickin' Herb Simon's ownership. He lucked into having Donnie Walsh as a president of basketball operations and drafting guys like Reggie Miller and building these amazing teams, and he just doesn't want to spend money on them. He lucks into people who are very talented in the front office but have some flaws here and there, but he doesn't want to spend money to try and maybe fix their flaws or compensate for their flaws, and it just results in bad basketball teams. But not bad enough to where we're getting like number one overall picks or anything. It's to where we're barely making or missing the playoffs. We look good on paper, but it means nothing when we never go far in the playoffs, never even reach the second round. That's disappointing that this year, all I want is, it's not even a championship. All I want is to see the second round for the first time since 2014. It's all I want. Can't even give me that. When you have the talent to get it done. Freaking give me a spot in this front office. I'd do way better. Let me manage Herb Simon's finances so we can see how much money he's making off of the team that he could put into the team. Or maybe convince him to sell it to Jim Irsay. At least Jim Irsay. That's what a sports owner is supposed to do. Spend money on a good team. Disappointed. Disappointed.
Here's the 2-2. Oh, and he went too far.